oil and gas is probably the number one alternative investment that people turn to, I think, nowadays. But why do people utilize oil and gas, and why is it so popular amongst people that are educated in that area?
Yeah, I would say this. So the IRS is generally a great indicator of what's going to be the favorite asset class. You ready? So the IRS in 1986, because we were running out of oil in this country, they said, we're going to give tax incentives to let high income earners, higher net worth investors, we're going to encourage them through tax incentives to go drill oil wells in the US. So they came up with the 1986 Tax Reform Act. What did they do the last 10 years? They made solar farms, wind farms, green energy, alternative energy. That was the tax favored investment because they wanted a lot more alternative energy. So they drive us like sheep, the IRS does and Congress does. They drive us like sheep to go to areas through tax write-offs and tax incentives to do what they want us to do. They're trying to create an end result. Well, here's the interesting part. So a lot of those subsidies for wind and solar are going away. Trump's dismantling those. But since 1986 Tax Reform Act, those same tax incentives exist today, which tells you what? We still want American high net worth investors to continue to invest in domestic exploration because we consume 7 to 10 million barrels more a day than we produce. We're a net importer. So those tax incentives and those tax write-offs and that tax-free income is like putting popcorn on a picnic table. You know, you're going to get all kinds of people interested in it. And so if you're an income earner that makes, let's say, over $300,000 a year, and you go, I'd rather not pay 30 to 40% taxes. Well, what's my choices? Well, they're not really good. Usually a lot of those are what I would call bait and switch. Conservationism doesn't really exist. You're going to get it audited. You do all these nonsense investments. At the end of the day, they're really about a tax write-off, but not really making money. Oil and gas is the only one you get a write-off in, and you actually can make a lot of money at it. The problem is it's a difficult industry. And it's a difficult industry because there's not any public data. You can't go to a Oil and Gas Investing 101 website, and it non-biasedly tells you how it works, gives you instructions so you don't get a bad deal, you don't get ripped off from bad sponsors. It doesn't exist. And I don't think it ever will exist.